Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. This is Kim Lengling, your fearless host. Yeah, I'm saying fearless today. I'm saying it for a reason, and you'll find out why soon enough. Please welcome to Let Fear Bounce my guest, Matina Singh. Now, her story is one of courage, resilience, and transformation. Over a year after leaving an unhealthy marriage, she found herself sitting in the silence of her living room, still wrestling with doubts, legal battles, financial strain, and motherhood. She had left, but she hadn't yet healed. And here's a couple questions she asked herself, folks. Was the abuse really that bad? And maybe he was right. Maybe I'm not good enough. But instead of accepting that pain as her new reality, Matina asked herself a powerful question. What if there's another way? That spark set her on a journey of relentless self discovery. I love those words together relentless self discovery. She has made it her mission now to help others find emotional freedom and empowerment from past pain. She's also an author, folks, and a podcast host. Matina, welcome to Let Fear Bounce.
Thank you so much, Kim. It's so exciting to be here in this conversation. I know it's going to be absolutely potent and beautiful.
I agree. And there's many reasons why we can both agree on that.
So true.
That's
So
so true. So true. But I want to jump right into it, folks. I do have a question for you. My first question. And it might be a little personal, and you can pass if you like. But when you were sitting in that dark spot in your living room that day, and you asked yourself, was the abuse really that bad? And I'm sure that that's not the first time that question's ever been asked, and that's you're not the first person to ever ask yourself that question. So share, if you can, your perspective of looking back. Why did you ask yourself that question? Because some people might be listening, going, "What do you mean? Abuse is abuse."
I hear you. And I actually, when you say that question, something my stomach goes like, "Eesh." And it's really that pain that I was in that really overpowered
Mhm.
my conscious mind and my reasoning for understanding that abuse is a big no, right? And mind you, in that situation, what truly was behind that question was the desire to have a family,
Okay.
right? The desire to be this happy family with my kids and their dad and just being able to have it all. And now I was here in this dark room. Yes, my kids were peaceful upstairs. Yes, I was at peace. I was at safe. They were safe. Everything was fine. But still that emptiness inside was asking if I made that right decision, if I should have stayed for the sake of society, people, and to really tell myself the lie that I have it all.
Now, you and I had talked off mic that when you made this decision and you took your children and left this situation, that your daughter was only a month old. That had to have been hard and probably a little bit of fear tucked in there too when you made that decision.
Well, in all reality, Kim, I was contemplating to leave that marriage for years. And I hadn't because there was a fear of, will I be accepted by my family if I leave him? Divorce orchestrated by a man is acceptable in my community, but by a woman is a big no go. Like, what do you mean you want to leave him? What do you mean there's something wrong? You need to figure it out. You need to do it all. Try more, try harder, try this, try it. And I had given myself all the scenarios, what would happen when I would even approach my parents with, I want to leave him. And I had to really sit with that pain for years and with the scenarios that my mind and my fear was making up. Like you're talking about bounds, let's fear bounds. Like I was literally allowing fear to trap me in that moment. But when my daughter was born, something shifted. She became my catalyst.
Mhm.
Because when I looked into my daughter's eyes and I asked myself the honest question, will I, as a mother, be okay if my daughter believes that this is how a relationship between two people should be?
Ah, powerful.
I
Pal.
didn't ask that question with my boys.
Yeah.
That did not land as hard as when it landed with my daughter.
Yeah. I can understand that. Now, share with the listeners, those who might just be listening and not watching, that there's a cultural thing
Yeah,
going on here with you and your life and your marriage. There is a cultural difference from, well, it's worlds apart from what I, as an American,
right.
may have experienced. So share a little bit about your culture and why some of those fears and doubts, self-doubt, may have crept in.
So, in the South Asian community, which I am a part of, divorce is not something that is promoted at all. It actually is completely condemned. It's like no go. You figure it out. You don't hang your dirty laundry outside. You just sit with it. You figure it out inside of the house. And I did that. I tried to be that good girl. But I was recognizing that I was losing myself more and more. And I was becoming this depressed mom that was trying to put up a smile on her face and do it all in the world. But then when everyone was sleeping, the kids were peaceful sleeping, I was in this house which felt like, oh my God, is he going to come home drunk? Oh my God, is this going to happen? Oh my God, am I going to be talked to in a certain way? You are always in a stress energy. And that stress literally was making me feel depressed, making me feel disconnected, making me feel like I could not do it all. So, me, even after leaving him, asking myself the question, am I worthy?
Mm. Yeah, that's a pivotal moment, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
When you ask yourself that question, when you first asked yourself that question, how did you answer?
Because of my upbringing, I did not know how to answer it because Matina had always been living for others. I
Yeah.
was living to be the good daughter, the good sister. And then when I got married, I was trying to be the good wife, the good mother. I had all of these roles that I could pour myself into that did not require me to look at myself. So here I am after having these beautiful support from my parents and my family that's like, no, we're supporting you. You are not meant to live in abuse. We are supporting you. That really was like all the pain and all the stories and all the fears that I was holding on to so fearlessly fell apart because my parents said, we're going to support you. Right. So now I'm leaving this house. I've decided I'm not going to go back to Europe because my family's in Europe. I'm the only one in my family to be in Canada at that time.
That had to have been hard too. That had to have brought a whole nother element into things of feeling maybe lonely, isolated, stuck.
I understand why you think that, but there was something inside of me that couldn't understand that was really making me stay. Because it would have been the easiest thing to book those flights and go back home. He could not have stopped me. But I didn't because in my mind, it was important to differentiate that my relationship with him has ended. Does not mean that my children's relationship with
Mm.
him has ended. And I'm not going to be the mom that is breaking that apart and I'm going to say, like, nope, I'm going to look after what I need to do. I couldn't do it. I really, truly could not do it. But there was also this whisper, and I didn't hear the whisper clearly, but there was this whisper. It's like, no, you're meant to be here alone to actually take the time to understand who you are.
Delving into that is hard.
Yes.
That's a tough one. It's painful at times too.
Oh
When
my
you're,
gosh.
yeah, you've been so used to one way of life.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to ask you said it was a tough relationship, abusive in ways. I'm not going to ask specifics, but I do have a question for you. Was he a narcissist or have narcissistic tendencies? Did you know that going into the marriage, or did that show up throughout the relationship?
We use this word narcissism and narcissist very loosely nowadays. And it's
Mm.
sadly being used in a way as a blame. Did he have narcissistic traits? Yes, he does. Is he a narcissist? No, he isn't.
What a good way to explain it like that. You just opened my eyes on that because I'd not looked at it. You're right. We use narcissist, we in general, as a blanket identifier, and we probably should not. Yeah, we need to look at it differently, probably.
It
Thank
is
you.
beautiful to have a word that helps us understand someone else's behaviors. At the same time, when you get lost in the story that I was living with a narcissist or I had a very difficult experience, you're actually also, again, giving your power away and becoming a victim once again.
You are right. You are right. I love having
It's
people like you on my
difficult.
show.
It-
I
but
do.
it's so difficult.
Well, it is, and I love it when like you just gave me a different perspective on a word on and how to look at it. So no, that person is not necessarily a narcissist, but do they have tendencies? Yes. And I know a few people like that. And I'm sure everybody listening knows at least one person that might have some of those tendencies, but that doesn't necessarily cover them in that word of, you're a full-blown narcissist. So, yeah, good little
Reason
learning
why I get to
experience
this
there.
conclusion though, Kim, is because I had to look and ask myself the question, if I put him as a narcissist and I that's all he ever was for 9 years of my marriage, then what in me was so broken that could not see through that? Because the
Mm,
reality is he had great moments too. We have three beautiful children. They were not born out of that
yeah,
trait. They were born out of love.
yeah,
And I cannot disown that part of him.
yeah. I
So,
think a lot of people let the hurt stay, and they let that weigh them down, which, and releasing it is so freeing. But I think a lot of folks, and I'm sure folks, and I do too, and I'm guilty of it. At one point in my life, I let all the negative have so much power until one day I realized, wait a minute, it wasn't all bad.
but we are
It
hurt. We
wasn't
just
all
want to
it wasn't all
recognize.
bad. It's not an awful, awful person. It just didn't work anymore.
And that is okay. We are absolutely in our own right to say, like, this does not work for me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And whatever this person chooses to do with that or not, that is on them.
Yeah, I say that all the time. When people say something negative or something, I'll be like, "Well, that's a judgmental thing. That's your opinion. That's on you. Has nothing to do with me." Yeah, that's on you. I've been saying that a lot lately. There's just so much dissension in the world, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that's on them, not on me." Don't I'm not going to pick up someone else's crap and carry it.
But how often do we do that though?
Yes, I was going to say I used to, and I know that especially for women, we have a tendency to absorb it and just add it to our backpack.
But even something simple as whenever I would say to someone, "Oh, I am separated or I'm divorced," they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Why are you sorry? I am happy."
And why are you, it has
Don't be
nothing to do
sorry.
with you.
We're
Why are you
good.
sorry?
But that
Yeah,
is a very natural response for people to share. And then the next thing I would hear oftentimes is like, "Oh, your kids are growing up in a broken home."
yeah,
But that is similar to what you just said, right? We can hear these statements and we can take them on as a coach, or we can be like, "No, thank you. That's your belief. That's
right,
not mine."
right. That's your opinion, your belief. Keep it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That does not mean that I have to pick it up and carry it with me.
Why do we carry it though? We
I
carry
don't,
it when
I,
there's something in resonance inside of us.
yes. And I used
The
to carry
fear.
so much stuff from other people. And now I don't. I just don't.
But there's okay, but in that there is has been a growth period where you're like, oh no, I'm dropping that fear. Oh no, this is not coming with me. And because you're dropping those fears, those statements don't resonate with you, so therefore you don't take it on. In the beginning, I would really take it to heart that my kids who are growing up in a broken family.
Hmm.
And then I would be like, oh, I'm going to make it up. I'm going to take them to places. I'm going to make them so happy with all of these different things and experiences. They're going to forget about all of it. But who was I kidding?
Right.
First of all, I don't need to take this statement on at all. Me living with him completely miserable, him completely miserable, and then raising our kids in that stressful environment, that is broken.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Staying in a relationship that isn't working, that could be abusive or however, whatever it may be, not healthy. I cringe when people say, well, we did it for the kids. Well, the kids are growing up learning that that's what a relationship should be looking like. And that's wrong. My opinion only. My opinion. I feel that that's very wrong. But yeah, gosh, we could go on that topic forever, but I want to talk about, I want to talk about, you were a co-author in a couple of books, correct?
Correct.
If you want to share just a little bit about that, and then we're going to move on to this mission that you're on now to help others. But first, talk a little bit about the books and that how they're anthologies, if I'm correct.
Right. So both books are co-authored with amazing, strong South Asian women. And both of them, even though they were released at different times, they have the same essence. The very first one, I wrote about my divorce and how my experience was, but it was still about 5 years after divorce.
Mm.
Now, the second book that came out earlier this year, that one really came from a healed place. I could look at him and his journey. I could really feel why he is the way he is. And I could have compassion and care for it. Do I agree with how he's showing up currently as a dad? No, I don't. But here's the thing, if I am raising emotionally aware children, then I am also giving them the freedom to feel their pain,
Mm.
to talk about their pain. And they actually get to see me write these books, talk about my experience. They get to see me being happy. They get to see their dad in the way that he is responding and acting towards them. And then they get to differentiate what is okay for them and what isn't.
Yeah, because kids will eventually make up their own mind, and kids are much smarter than we give them credit for when it comes to the parent.
And kids learn from examples.
Yes. Yes, they do. Yeah. So you
I
wrote,
don't
you
badmouth
co-authored in
him.
both of those books. I love how you said the first one was, not that long after you're divorced, and the second one was from the place of healing. So two totally different stories that you were able to share. You
Two
know,
totally different stories, but both very much grounded in who am I?
yeah. How awesome though that you had that opportunity to do those stories and to share them with other amazing women.
It is important for us to be able to read and be like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Right. I'm not the only one.
I'm
Yes.
not emotional. I am not whatever your to not is. Like I heard a lot, like, oh, you're
So am
stupid.
I. So, yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
stupid. Like, come on. I know what I am and I know who I am.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
that was the journey. The journey is you. The journey is not the other person. The journey is not that past relationship. It is you.
So what was the impetus, I guess, that had you said, your mission to begin this mission and you turned it into a business and this is what it is that you're doing now to help others. So share the name of the business, what it is that you do, and how that came to be. What was that little push that said, I'm going to do this?
Oh my gosh. Well, the push was my divorce. That was the
Okay.
beginning push. Where I am right now with my business and my mission, and I'm saying my very loosely here because it's not about Matina and it's not about my business. It is truly about those who are struggling and who do not know who they are. We all have shadows.
Mm,
We all have these darker sides of ourselves, the brain that is telling us all of these things that we are and should be and are not, and that negative voice inside is so damn hard that we start believing that perspective.
mhm.
I believe that perspective. So now that I'm so far away from that perspective, I get to see it with a big view as, oh, that's why I did what I did. That's where the pain lies. That's what I told myself. So now, really being in this journey of seeing the soul, seeing all of you, not from a perspective of another person, but from the perspective of you, seeing your shadows, meeting them, having compassion for them. And then here's the key: don't hold on to them, let them go.
Yeah. Yeah. Good key. Chick.
And we do. We are so habituary where we want to hold on to what we know.
Yes, you are right. I agree. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes we do have to let certain things go so we can grow into who
And
we're meant to be.
sometimes, oh, if you can just say, you know what, this is not serving me.
Mm,
I don't know what to do. And I'm going to find someone that I am being called to connect and ask. You're doing yourself the biggest favor you ever do. As women, we don't ask for help.
I know. Yeah. It's always good to have a tribe. Build your
A
tribe.
tribe, a mentor, a guide, a
Right.
person who understands and sees you. I
Right.
didn't have that.
Yeah. And I didn't have that either for a while. And I think many women probably have found themselves in that spot where you feel like you're not being seen, you know? And I was talking to my pastor one day and he said, the one thing I try very hard to do is to meet people exactly where they are. And to me, that was so profound because there's no judgment in that. You might be an absolute walking ball of mess, and he's going to meet you right smack in the middle of that mess. And you might be on the outside looking like you're doing awesome. He's going to meet you in that awesomeness until you figure out, maybe it's not so awesome after all. But I found that just the way he phrased that. He goes, I really want to meet people exactly where they are.
And words have power. Words are
Yes,
magic. And words also destroy.
indeed. We all know that. Look at the
And
world
it's,
today.
oh my gosh. It
Well,
when
I don't even want to go there because it's just crazy. The world
Well,
has lost
let's
its
talk
damn
about
mind.
narcissism. Let's really talk about narcissism. When we are in this defeat of, I don't know who I am, I don't want this, I don't know. And a lot of people, me included, were very unclear as to what we want. We can
Mm,
name you all the 20 things that we do not want. What do
right.
we want? We get kind of lost in that. It would be nice to have this. It would be nice to have that. No, no, no. What do you want? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? So what actually happens is when you just are leaving a relationship, left a relationship, have left it for years, if your mindset is still of a victim, you're going to be online, you're going to be seeking validation from every source that you can find to say, see, he or she did me wrong.
Yeah.
And when you go from this validation into surrender and questioning as a curious child, like, I don't want this. What else is there? as soon as you start asking what else is there, you're almost going to see your algorithm change online and
Yeah.
be like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
didn't think of this perspective. I'm,
I think a lot of people forget, or maybe they don't realize that your thoughts and your actions will become in big part by what it is you're listening to, reading, watching, all of that. You don't realize that you're being brainwashed by all the stuff that's coming at you every single day because the human brain is not meant to take in so much information each day, let alone each minute, each 5 minutes, the way that social media is. I mean, look
yeah,
at Twitter. It's like every so many seconds, boom, 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 boom. The human brain is not made to take in and absorb and keep all of that information. No wonder there's so much anxiety and depression in the world right now, and anger and discord, you know? I mean, think about it. That's just scientifically proven there. We're not meant to take all that information in. So yeah, your thoughts and your actions are what it is that you're feeding those thoughts and actions.
let's step into the emotions for a bit here, though, because you're mentioning anxiety and depression, which is huge in this world.
Hmm.
There's so many resources out there that you can sit in meditation and release this anxiety, release the depression. And in that moment of the meditation, you feel good. You're like, oh, yes, this feels better. Okay, I feel good now. And then you go about your day. 10 minutes later, a day later, you're like, oh, it's back again. It didn't leave me. What I got to recognize, and actually, this happened a few months ago in my own depression. I actually had an anxiety attack, if you will. And I was like, I want to walk outside and I want to cry. And as I was walking outside and crying, I was like, I just need to hear something that actually will talk to my anxiety. I don't want a meditation. I don't want to wish it away. I just want to hear something that talks to my anxiety. Something like a pep talk almost, like
Yeah.
talk to my anxiety. Let me know what that I'm okay. And I could not find anything. So I look up and I'm like, even in my misery, you're giving me ideas? Like, this is not okay. So, what I've released is this bundle of 5 pep talks that talk to a specific emotion. And these specific emotions are addressed with better quality questions that allow you to see a different perspective. And it also brings you back in recognizing how much you have already overcome in your
Mm.
life. So, this idea that you can handle another day cannot stay because you have handled so many already.
Yes, indeed. And here is something I'm going to share. I have shared so many times on this show because a counselor shared it with me on a bad day, caught me at a bad day. Anxiety was running rampant, depression. It was a bad day. And she asked me the question, Kim, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? I went, I don't like looking in the mirror. Why not? Because I don't like what I see. I see a loser. I see somebody who's weak. I can't control this anxiety. I can't control this depression. I should be able to pull myself out. And all of that. I should. And she goes, have you ever looked at it this way when you look in the mirror? No matter how bad your day is, you are standing at the end of another day looking at yourself in the mirror. That is a 100% success rate for getting through the tough stuff. Boom, period. Because you're still standing there. That's a
A
100% success rate.
100%.
Yes,
Yes.
it doesn't get better than that. And when she said that to me, I there was just a switch that flicked, and sometimes we need that from outside our own little bubble.
Yes. And we need it in the moment.
Yes. Yeah, that it makes it so much more powerful when it's in the moment.
Yes, because now you're not only left with feeling better in the moment, but you're also left with quality questions that you can sit with. I'm like, oh yeah, what would that be? How would I really do with this? And what would
Yeah.
honest, I'm telling you, like I literally looked up at God because I believe in God. I'm like, in my misery, you're giving me me ideas. How dare you? And I, and then an hour later, it's like, oh my God, I got this brilliant idea while I was going for this walk. It was just
You know, I always laugh and say most of my brilliant ideas come when I'm outside walking and it's been a bad day.
absolutely.
I think then that's when we're most vulnerable. And I too believe in God. And that's when I'm out walking the dog every day. That's where I'm chatting with them, having a very open, honest discussion. And that's where a lot of times it'll be like, oh, oh, there we go. So I have the time has flown. We've already went to a half hour.
Oh my gosh.
This is crazy. So I want you to share with folks where they can find you, your books, all your good stuff. And I know that you had something coming up or was just recently released. So share a bit about that too.
So what I recently released is the pep talks. Literally
Oh,
500
awesome.
of 5, and they're only $7. Like it cannot get better than that because I believe every single person should have access to be able to shift their perspective and be like, yes, I feel angry, I feel depressed, I feel anxiety, but I'm not that. I am not that.
So is this
I'm
a digital product or is it like something you can, is it printed, something you can physically
It's a
hand?
digital product. You can just listen to the audio wherever you're walking, wherever you're going. We all have phones nowadays, so we can listen to it as we are walking, as we're sitting in silence, wherever you please to. So that's that. And then everyone can find that information and the book links and everything on my website, which is matinasingh.com. If you are on Instagram, find me at Sing Matina. On Instagram or on TikTok, and then also Facebook. I'm there as well as Coach Matina. But really, truly, to all your listeners, reach out. You have nothing to lose. If you
Right.
don't feel compelled to reach out to me, reach out to Kim, reach out to anyone you feel compelled to because you deserve to be the person that you're always meant to be.
I agree. Now you're also a podcast host, so share your podcast. Where's that? What's it called? Where can you find it?
Podcast is on all the platforms from Spotify to Apple to YouTube, and it's called From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. It's very spiritual. It's very much about raw conversations of people who were like, I'm not going to make another day, into I'm living my best life.
Awesome. Awesome. So be sure you tune into that as well, folks. All of the links and everything that she just mentioned will be in the show notes and the description. Matina, I ask all of my guests as we wrap up the episode of Let Fear Bounce to toss out a nugget of hope. So, what would your nugget of hope be for the listeners today?
The nugget of hope that I got myself in that moment where I was sitting in the darkness and I did not know what to do or how to feel was, what if something better is out there
Ooh,
that I am meant to experience? Just that questions opens your doors to recognize that there is something better out there for you. And I truly know, it's not a belief, it's a knowing that there is. So now walk through that door and allow yourself to see the world of possibilities just because you're allowing yourself to feel all that you feel.
beautiful. Thank you for that nugget. And I hope those folks out there listening picked up that little nugget that she just tossed out to you. Martina, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I would love to have you back sometime because there's a lot more to talk about. A lot more to
So
talk
I
about.
would love to come back, and I love this conversation too, Kim. Thank you so much for being a beautiful host and your beautiful energy.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And everybody out there listening, thank you once again to tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. Each Wednesday, folks, new episodes are uploaded on all of the listening platforms as well as YouTube. So you can see our smiling faces and catch the energy, if you will. And of course, all of those nuggets. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the things so others can experience nuggets of hope as well. I am Kim Lengling, the host of Let Fear Bounce. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed.
Kindness. It's simple, powerful, and free. Yet, it holds the extraordinary ability to change someone's day or even their life. Order your copy of Nuggets of Hope, Cultivate Kindness on Amazon.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. New episodes drop each week, folks, on YouTube and Spotify and most listening platforms. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things. So until next time, folks, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and as always, let fear bounce.